I think then we could already kick it off. But Kanberg, then you can do the honors and kick this webinar off.
Okay, thank you, Alexi, and hello everyone. Thank you for attending today. I'm Canberk from Movico, and I'm leading the product and growth of Movico. Today, me and Alexi will be hosting this webinar. And Alexi, will you just tell me about yourself and the participants?
So yeah, so I'm Alexi, a Finnish guy, the head of business development for Custobar. I'm transmitting this from Finland, from Turku, my home office. So super happy to have all of you here, and hopefully you get interesting insights and ideas to your business after and from this webinar.
Well, hopefully it will be beneficial for all participants. And as Alexi told before, the webinar is being recorded and we will share it with you afterwards. Also, you may write your questions below from the Q&A part on the footer. Today, our agenda will consist of 6 topics. We will first briefly introduce both companies, and after we will discuss the easiness and effectiveness of a mobile app and how mobile app will benefit for businesses. Later, Alexi will demonstrate the seamless omni-channel customer experience, and he will show real-life examples on how can mobile app data be leveraged in your omni-channel communication strategy.
Yes, it
will be beneficial for all.
Yeah, exactly. And then in the end we have Q&A. So like said, just post your questions already during the presentation, and then we will collect them and answer them in the end. Then just to highlight like few learning points, which we hope that you will get from the presentation. So first of all, this falls, I think, most on the app side to Movico's side. So what is the added value of having a mobile app? How can you get it going, and how does that part work? And then also, that's maybe more on the CDP side and Custobar side. So what does a mobile app bring to the table, data collection and communication wise? Of course, considering the bigger picture of your other existing channels. And then basically the third point is that 3 concrete ways to leverage your customer data from all channels and use it to communicate in multi-channel fashion with your customers. So we've tried to visualize the flow of customer journey in as concrete way as we could. So hopefully that will help you. And then there's also a couple of few good examples from real life which you can hopefully use and think about your business as well. Then going forward, basically the background for the webinar was that Custobar is a CDP and marketing automation platform, and Movico is a platform with which getting a mobile app is basically as easy as it is. And having had discussions before with retailers, usually the thing is that it has been quite costly. It has been quite hard to maintain, or also costly to maintain. But there are a few good reasons, or actually many good reasons to get an app. And here are just like few interesting numbers that we've gathered from research, which actually also shows the significance of it. And these first ones are from Gartner research. So first of all, mobile apps, they usually have 20% higher conversion rates than shopping from desktop. That's pretty substantial number. And then also they have 120% higher conversion rates than mobile sites. So that's substantial as well. And something which is quite interesting, like of course now during this COVID time, Segmentify did this research with their customers about the rise in e-commerce revenue in February this year compared to 2019. And the lift was 58%. And I believe that all of us, we already know how that change has been happening, but now it's happening even faster because of the COVID situation and the change in the whole well, basically way how we work and how we live and how we do things. And then the third one was quite interesting. It was from a Gartner report from this year that 37% of US and EU respondents to their questionnaire preferred buying using their smartphones. So whether it's a mobile site or app, that's included there. But basically that's becoming even a bigger thing. And then also actually from the same research, I found out that it was, I think more than half of the people also like to use their apps while they're shopping in the stores. So that's pretty interesting as well, that because maybe before the digitalization, we saw that these things are separate, but how the consumers use apps and physical stores and e-commerce, it's basically blending together. And that's why, of course, the data and how we use them and see them should be kind of like unified, but also how the data is then used to communicate with the customer. It should also follow how the customers and consumers live. And then next, a bit about Movico.
Thank you, Alexi. As Alexi told, the numbers are getting higher and higher every day, and mobilization is now becoming the must for all companies. But before we talk about how Movico and Custobar may help you grow, we will briefly talk about our companies first. As Movico, we are a mobile-focused technology company, designing and developing intelligent mobile commerce solutions for e-commerce companies. And as Alexi told seconds ago, we know how long, tiring, sometimes overpriced, and frustrating mobile apps projects can be. This is why our experience and expertise are geared towards mobilizing e-commerce companies as easily and effectively as possible. Having a native mobile app is not a new concept for retailers anymore. However, e-commerce companies who like to provide mobile apps still either face with high prices or see their apps developed by freelancers became non-functional after a short time. From this perspective, the problem was obvious. Mobile apps needed to have some standards, and they needed to be developed in lower prices. But also, there should not have been any pre-structured or standard components. On the contrary, personalization and customization have become the key for retailers in reaching their customers with the high competition and digitalization took place in 2020. And in order to solve this issue, we developed Movico, an ultimate software as a service for e-commerce companies, which can completely be customized and personalized according to their needs, with limitless design options and components. Till now, more than 100 customers from more than 10 countries enjoyed our solution. And before I go into details on and how it can help, I'm leaving the floor now, Alexi, to introduce Custobar.
Yeah, that was a good summary. And then just shortly about what we do. So Custobar is a CDP, so customer data platform, a marketing automation platform for retail and B2C. So what we do is the first part, we collect data from the sources where you have the data. So basically all data related to your customers, what they've been buying, what they've been browsing, what they've been doing. So that means e-commerce, your loyalty program, then of course purchases from your e-commerce physical stores, like identified customers from the physical stores, but then also apps. So getting all of that data together, then we can also have like other parts which are integrated as well. For example, customer service through Zendesk, or any other relevant data, basically data points. So of course, browsing data from your app or your e-commerce store, but for example, any other interesting event which you would need. And when that data is put together in Custobar, then you get a full profile of every individual customer, who they are, what they've been interested in, how good of a customer they are. And based on all of this data, you can create targeted audiences, dynamic customer groups, basically, which you can then use for segmented campaigns, marketing automation, triggered campaigns. And then, of course, the third part is communicating with them. And there we have Google Ads, email, SMS, which are still big. You can even get address lists for physical posts. Via Facebook integration, you can sync the data from Custobar to there as well, as custom audiences. And then of course apps. So by using webhooks, we can also trigger targeted campaigns, push notifications, messages to consumers in apps, or do automations with that. So basically, it's not only about getting all the data to one place, but also being able to orchestrate the marketing from those specific customers through Custobar to different channels. And to people who don't know Custobar, we're a Finnish company, started in 2014. So we also have over 100 customers, retail B2C customers in, I think, now 14 different countries. So pretty similar setup to Movico. And of course they have the app side. We can help more, or Custobar can help more with the data and basically bringing that together for the communication wise. So this is why we see Movico and Custobar as a pretty great match. But then floor is yours about the why to get a mobile app and what are the benefits there.
Okay, thank you, Alexi. Is it just me, or does everyone get excited when they hear about data and how to create segments? I just love it, and I'm actually sometimes ashamed of confessing that I love data, but Customer always does excite me. In Movico side, the popular question companies often ask us is why they should get an app. And the answer is rather simple. You should not get an app. You must have an app. And the answer relies on data. The mobile commerce world is growing at such a rate that has never been seen before. In 2019, mobile commerce comprised nearly a half of total e-commerce, more than doubling since 2015. According to Business Wire, the worldwide mobile commerce share in e-commerce is expected to reach 73% globally. And furthermore, global mobile commerce sales will make up for 54% of all e-commerce sales by 2021. And marketers are now expecting mobile commerce to be the main channel for online shopping, since as much as 87% of shoppers engage in online product search before buying. But, Alex, can you skip?
Yeah, yes.
The reason is that mobile apps and mobile commerce is growing this fast. And when you think about it, the answer may look simple. Mobile apps make you grow faster. And let's do some brainstorming, shall we? What are the most important objects for a company to grow? Acquisition, getting new users; activation, converting those users into customers; and retention, ensuring customers come back again and again. Mobile apps make sure that you get better in these three at the same time. But mobile apps do not do this by their alone, but they must work with good marketing automation system. With gradually increasing demand, e-commerce companies now have to match up to bigger audiences and more competitors. Offering a unique and personalized experience is the real differentiator in acquiring new customers and retaining the existing ones. Thus, retailers need to focus on real-time personalized marketing strategies on customers, not only by offering the best prices, but also by providing unique contents which would differentiate them from the competitors. Displaying the right products at the best prices is not an effective way to attract customers anymore. Retailers need to display right products at best prices to the right people. And in order to achieve that, retailers must know their customers better. Furthermore, it is crucial to enjoy different digital channels, especially enjoying the most profitable ones. While a research flurry shows that mobile users are spending 90% of their time in mobile apps, a study from our Gartner demonstrates that mobile apps have a 120% better conversion rate than mobile web. And both of these data actually are sending a clear signal as to the importance of a native mobile app with regards to knowing and converting your users. And did you notice that I said native mobile apps instead of just mobile app? Hopefully you did, because I'm not talking about PWAs or hybrid mobile apps, but I'm talking about native mobile apps. Because it is all about knowing your customers and delivering a unique experience to each of them. Native apps engage and acquire customers by delivering a much better experience for mobile users. Thus, people who visit your app will be spending more time and visiting more pages than the visitors on your website. A report from ClickZ shows that users spent around 79% more time in mobile commerce apps. And you know what happens when visitors spend more time and visit more pages? They just become your customers. But in our case, we are not settled for one-time purchases. We want more because Movico and Custobar want to make you grow. And your current customers will give you a great chance to increase your revenue, as they are more likely to buy from you than your prospects. And did you know that 10% of increase in user retention can increase the value of a business by more than 30%? A study from our partner Gartner shows that 80% of your future profits will come from just 20% of your current customers. These mean that the revenue sources you've been trying to find are most likely sitting right under your nose, waiting to be nurtured and cultivated.
And by the way, this is exactly something that we see a lot when we look at the customer data from our customers. So basically, like the RFM matrix, which is in Custobar, of course you can do the analysis also otherwise, but like mostly it's extremely small part of the loyal customers who bring the biggest benefit for the business. And of course, it's not only about growing that, but that's usually an easy way, but also growing the new customers to being the VIP customers, the most profitable ones, and then also like bringing back the passive VIP customers there. So like I think it's often neglected, and even more when it's not neglected, it's not actually acted upon. People might know it, but it's quite hard to grasp and take it into action.
It's so funny that people often underestimate this, but more often that customer acquisition costs are much more higher than keeping customers loyal and making them to promote your business. However, businesses are often preferring that acquiring new customers instead of retaining the existing ones.
That's it. That's it.
And in order to keep your loyal customers, in order to enjoy your loyal customers, you need a tool to keep your relationships with customers alive. And you need to use that tool as often as possible. Digitalization of business made mobile apps have become a norm for all online businesses as ideal means to reach out to every customer on a personal level at any time. The more unique customers feel, the longer they stay connected. And you need to make them feel unique. This is why push notifications have still the highest open rate among the other communication ways. And this is why segmented promotions work best among all the campaign models. Therefore, as Movico, we provide one of the most advanced mobile commerce technologies in the world for you to get to know your customers better and keep engaging with them effectively with Custobar. And in the next slide, Alexei will demonstrate what kind of data can you get from Movico and how you can use it with Custobar.
Thank you. Exactly. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And first of all, in the part of Movico, what you basically get from your platform to begin with is that you get what products the customers have been looking, what the products customers have added to their wish lists. These are, of course, things that then you can leverage even more when we think about marketing. But of course, the great thing there is that you have a native integration to Google Analytics. So you get the demographic data from the customers, which then can be used in just like understanding the bigger customer base there. You also have the Facebook login option, so you can see the Facebook credentials in the customer profiles. Once again, a lot of these things are the things which you can then also use in CDP. And then, of course, the good thing is that you already have a ready-made integrations to analyze users, just like heat maps with Hotjar or then Branch and these things. So even as in Movico in itself, there are a lot of things which help you analyze the data. But then when we bring on Custobar and the CDP on top of this, the first point is purchase data. But of course, this is not just like purchase data from the app, but the benefit is that we get the purchase data from app, e-commerce, and physical stores if you have those. So identified customers from there. Then also other like events, for example, what the customers have been browsing, what pages the customer has been browsing, any other kind of custom events, for example, customer service tickets, Zendesk ticket, add to basket events. Once again, these are the things which help you understand the customer on an actually individual level. If we think about it from the kind of like 360 view of an individual customer, but also these are the things which you then can use for marketing and marketing automation. And of course, when we talk specifically about apps, super interesting things are, for example, when the customer has an open the app, or basically last login date, which is something that you usually don't get from an e-commerce system, which then you can actually know that people have been coming to the app, haven't been buying. Then of course that's a trigger for you to activate them. Then another like part which I find fascinating is location data. There are many things how you can use it, or how you can get it, but basically one would be to have geofences around your stores. So then you know that if the customer has been close to the store, visited the store, but haven't bought. So those are things which virtually are virtually impossible with any other technology than having a native app for your customers to use. And then the other side of it is that what are then the possibilities for communicating through apps? Because to be honest, like we virtually always have mobile phones with us. Like you heard before, push notifications are still one of the most opened communication method. As long as people allow them, people really check them out and use them. So having that kind of like direct channel to your customers is extremely good. So of course with a CDP and Custobar, then you can do targeted push notifications. You can do targeted in-app messages. You can even do customize or personalize content in the app based on the customer segments or customer data as such, which is also quite interesting because Custobar, you told about the possibilities of personalization in the app. Like of course nowadays all e-commerce stores are already personalized, but in the app side it's not done that much.
Yeah, it's another thing that is underestimated by another companies.
Exactly, that's it. So that's once again something that, as you have the data, why wouldn't you leverage it and use it also in that channel? And then of course using, for example, personalized product recommendations in the app, and naturally then like I talked about specific things, but like automating these just as well, works just as well. Then we'll go to the next part. So basically examples of the seamless omni-channel customer experience, how basically where the data comes from, how that's aggregated into a CDP system, how do the different communication channels play a part in this. So let's get underway. So we've tried to show this from a viewpoint of an basically individual customer. So we start by that the customer does an email subscribe on your e-commerce page. What happens then is that in Custobar, the customer is created. We generate a new customer based on the email address, and of course we get the marketing permission from there. What happens then is that they get a welcome email. Usually a cookie at this point of time is saved on their browser. So then we start to also know the browsing information from the customer, and we also see that actually before that the customer opens the email. Then we start to get the browsing data with the cookie, and this example is bookstore data, so omnichannel bookstore data. So now this customer went to browse science fiction. Then Custobar, the system identified this customer is interested in sci-fi, and we send an automated campaign via email to her about the interesting products. But as an example, we can also already do a Google Ads customer match with this customer because we know her email address. And of course, more data you have already at this point, the more channels are basically available to you. But now we send an email and Google Ads to her, and then the customer buys. She buys a science fiction book, most likely based on the campaign. At least that's what the stats from Custobar would show most likely. What happens then? We get an event from the ERP or e-commerce system, and the customer gets an order confirmation email automatically, basically in real time. As we get the order confirmation, or basically the order comes in, so then we can also update the address data and phone number to the customer from the order, because that's something that we didn't have. We only had the marketing permission and the email address. Then going forward, what happens next is that Custobar also updates the customer's lifetime value. Her position in the RFM matrix is updated. She's not anymore on the bottom line of newsletter subscribers, but she's on the first step in the RFM matrix. So she's a one-time buyer. And for example, if you have an audience of one-time buyers, that's of course naturally updated as a dynamic audience as well. So those are the things which are happening in the background in Custobar. Then the order is ready for her to be picked up from a store. So the ERP system or e-commerce system sends an event to Custobar, which is pick and collect. What happens then is that we right away send an SMS, order ready SMS to the customer that tells her that you can go and pick this order up from this store by showing this SMS, for example, or by telling your name. Similarly, at the same time, if the customer already has downloaded the app, we can also send a push notification to her, because if she's registered to the app and logged in, then we also know that it's her, and we can do that at the same time. Once again, while we proceed, the customer goes to the store to pick up the order. While in store, the clerk on the cashier is using Custobar. They're asking the customer if they would like to be part of the loyalty program, highlight the good parts, maybe already tell about the app. She says yes, so then they just put in the details from her, maybe aggregate or enrich the data about her interests, and then that's updated to Custobar at the same time. Similarly, right away when she is added to the loyalty program, Custobar automatically sends an SMS to her saying that please install our app. And in this case, she didn't have it, because of course we know if she has it or not. And based on that message, she just follows the link to the App Store and installs the app to her mobile device. Then going forward, once again, we have one more channel to use. So we can also send a push notification to the customer about new books that might interest her. And she's been a science fiction customer in that audience. So then it's product recommendations in the push and in the message about that specific category. Going forward, this data, of course, because we, for example, know that she's part of the science fiction lovers audience, that can be then synced from Custobar to the e-commerce platform, to the app's back end. So the content there can be catered to her needs, or basically what's configured in the background in those systems. So then when she goes to the goes to the app. She sees the content which she is most likely interested in. So now it's science fiction. So this is how the CDP data, the segment data, can also be used to personalize the content in apps, or why not in e-commerce page as well, based on content which is linked to audience, and this customer is linked to the audience. So that's basically how it works. Then going forward, the customer browses science fiction category and related products. Once again, she buys a science fiction book thanks to the push notification, the campaign, and the segmented content. And then what happens then is that, of course, once again, Custobar updates the lifetime value, the RFM matrix, all of that in the background related to this. And once again, you have more data about the customer. At this point of time, you already have so much data. You know what they're interested in, the activity, when they're active and not. Then you can, for example, start targeting customers from the RFM matrix. So, for example, activating passive customers via the app with push notifications and all of that. But basically, this was a kind of like short run through of the possibilities of how the app data and app as a communication channel can be like a concrete part of your whole customer experience for your own customers. Then going forward, and like real life example from one of our customers of how you could, for example, use targeted push notifications in your marketing. This is an example of COVID times, so it was quite quick reactions to changing circumstances. The customer reacted very fast. This is basically the message. So get parking lot delivery for your food at your favorite restaurant. That's pretty interesting. You don't want to go to the restaurant to see a lot of people, but you still want your food. And if that happens in your favorite restaurant, that's superb. That's extremely personal. But what happened in the background was this, that there was quite a lot of criteria. So first of all, of course, people who have the app. This was also sent via email, but this push notification was, of course, only to the people who have the app and who have not yet ordered products or food with the delivery to the parking lot method, because this was something new that they wanted to communicate only to the customers who didn't know about it, not wanting to spam people who've already done it. And then the great part here was that they also used the information about the customer's favorite restaurant, what are the restaurants that they frequented the most, and then cross-checked that to the restaurants where they had the delivery to the parking lot. So they only sent the message to those customers who had the favorite restaurant was one of these places where you had the parking lot delivery. Quick reaction, extremely nice use of customer data in the background, in my opinion.
I haven't heard anything about parking lot delivery before.
Yeah, like me neither. If not for this case, I wouldn't have known that there is something like that. But nowadays there is, and apparently it worked quite nicely.
It's a great idea, and I wonder why this hasn't been adopted by the other companies all over the world.
True.
It's simple yet effective.
Exactly, because of course, like as long as, for example, you have like drive-through restaurants and things like that, or even not, if there's a parking lot next to a restaurant, pretty great and concrete way to serve your customers well.
Yeah.
Then next example is a abandoned cart push notification. and here the idea is that this is like segmented quite a lot. So it's just not it's not only a please come and like check out your customer like basket, but it's don't forget your basket, free delivery now. And here there's also criteria in the background. So this notification is only sent to customers who have more than 100 euros worth in their shopping basket. The other side of it is that there's a waiting period of 4 hours. So when the customer has put all of the products to the shopping basket is more than 100 euros, and they haven't bought in 4 hours from the app, from e-commerce, or from the stores, at least as a like identified sales. So then we can be sure that we're not spamming the customer, and for example, they haven't bought the products in some other channel and not in the app. And then they get this push notification. Of course, the best thing here is that this can be used in communication with, in combination with other communication channels as well. For example, an email. So then you can have a bit more interval there. So after, let's say, another 4 hours, they also get an email of please check out your basket, and here's the offer. But this idea, I think it's great in the sense that a lot of course, using notifications here, using all the purchase data from different channels, but also that a lot of companies don't want to give discounts to all of their customers, to all shopping baskets, for example, if they're €5 baskets. But having these kind of criteria and triggering them with the add to basket events gives you possibilities to give discounts to those customers who you can afford to give them to. So hopefully that was one idea for you as well. And then before we go to the questions, let's go to the key takeaways. So basically, thanks to Mobico and Custobar, that like getting and maintaining an app hasn't ever been easier. If app is something that you want, there are many easy possibilities. Mobico, it's pretty splendid one there. And then of course we had a lot of points, and Custobar had a lot of points of like what are the benefits there. And of course it was basically the acquisition, retention, keeping your customers, making more money with them. And then of course the side that to be able to do that, it's that you get a lot of data from apps, and then you get even more possibilities from the apps for your communication. So incorporating the app data to your CDP, to your existing customer data, to your existing channels is easy with modern integration all the way around, with integration also the other, like to the other side. So if you update data in CDP, that's also synced to other places. And with that, the app becomes a natural part of your communication strategy and communication channels. And it also blends well into the customer journey. And that's something that we've seen from our customers who are using apps that in the end, it's something, when the app is good, like customers do prefer it. And when the communication goes through the app, at least in selected parts, segmented campaigns, automations, it works great and customers love it.
Yeah.
Did you have something to add here before we go to the questions?
Actually, nothing more. The only thing I will say that the facts do show that segmented promotions perform well among all of the campaigns. So I believe it is a must for all e-commerce companies to focus on segmentation and getting to know their customers.
Yeah, and exactly, and also actually also to elaborate on your points earlier, that personalization, whether it's your store, like basically stores, but of course, but basically e-commerce stores and apps, personalizing those is becoming like more important than ever. And also like the communications. So targeted campaigns, segmented campaigns, having personalized content there in basically any channel of communication, it's becoming more and more important constantly.
Yeah.
Then here you can see our details, but now we'll look at the questions that you guys have posted. Let's see.
Okay, I guess there are 2 questions right now.
Yes, so there's one. Hello there. So I wonder how mobile apps will help you to get more customer data than websites. And I think that's a good and interesting question.
Okay, actually, I can start with, indeed, mobile apps do not just magically get all the customer data, like if she has a cat or if he likes playing piano, at least not after Facebook case or after GDPR. However, I think there are 2 answers for these questions. Mobile phones may now be the sole thing that are carried everywhere by everyone in their pockets. Thus, the data provided by mobile app will surely give the best result in knowing your customers. First, users spend more time on mobile, and mobile apps give much more reliable data than desktop and mobile web. Furthermore, tracking customer behaviors in mobile app with, let's say, Google Analytics that we provide in default, or Yandex Metrica, we can say, and it can be provided by Movico if requested, will demonstrate a more concrete data about, for instance, in average time spent per user. Since in desktop, one may have more than a few tabs open together in Chrome. However, if he or she logs into mobile app, the data and the data will be much more reliable. Secondly, I will actually cite a blog post from movico.com written by me about personalization. I don't know why I'm obsessed with talking about personalization and data this much, but I guess it just became my thing. I think the blog post was called How Personalization on Mobile Apps Will Generate Revenue. I put some researches there, and as far as I remember correctly, nearly 90% of customers were willing to share their data in exchange of a much more personalized experience. And I know that this does not sound like only for mobile applications. However, also in that research, it was showing that more than 60% of those people were likely to share that data only in mobile apps, since mobile apps provide them a better and more unique experience. I recommend you that take a look at that blog, and again, movico.com/blog/personalization in mobile apps. If you like to talk more about comprehensively after reading that blog, you can always drop me an email or reach me on LinkedIn.
And actually, I was going to also elaborate on that point. Like from my own experience in apps, usually on e-commerce sites, actually, they don't manage that well the questions, or there isn't like usually a good method of asking, for example, like enriching the data from me as a consumer of my preferences. For example, there's not like good preferences or interest parts in many of the e-commerce pages. I know that it's possible, but many companies don't do it. And usually based on the apps that I'm using and I have, first of all, that part is done better. And just like you said as well, the personalization in apps is usually much stronger and like done in a better way than in many e-commerce sites.
Yeah, because it just gives a lot of better experience for the user, and we just again underestimate the importance of user experience for the users. Even I sometimes prefer a good user experience than a good prices in a company.
Yes, and then we got another question, which is great. So How does Custobar resolve customer identities across touch points? And that's a super good question. Basically, there are varied ways. So for example, if you don't have a unified customer number or customer ID across your own system, so you don't put them together yourself, we can, first of all, we can combine them based on phone number or email address. For example, sales coming only with a phone number and email address, we can, or Custobar can match those customers to the existing data. And of course, that's the same with the app. So usually you have an app ID there. You know the person who is logged in. So as long as the sales or the profile from the app comes to Custobar, that can be matched to the existing customers if that matching isn't done somewhere else. And that means then that then you have the customer from the point of view of the existing data, then you know the app ID, which then means that when you do segmented push campaigns or automations to your app, then the app knows to which customer the message is going. So in the end, like it can sound like a complicated thing, but actually it's not. It's actually extremely easy, because it's just about finding the similarities in the customer data and putting that together, if that's not something that you already do within your own systems.
Yeah, I find it like a Sudoku.
Yes, but that's it. That's exactly it. So there is always the way of finding the things which match, and you always find the like one customer in the end. And then there was one more question. This was also about actually about Custobar. So what kind of databases Custobar integrates with? What kind of databases Custobar doesn't integrate with? No, but basically, of course, we do just like Movico. We have existing integrations with e-commerce systems. So Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce. Then you via APIs you can integrate to your custom e-commerce platform, even custom apps. Custobar and Movico, we have an integration. So for that part, like for the app side, you don't have to worry as such. Then of course, if you have ERP systems in the background, we can integrate with that over the APIs, and then basically any other data sources as well. So we have integrations with Zendesk for customer service systems, like a lot of different existing technologies, Loyalty Lion for loyalty point calculations, Yotpo, all of these. And then within APIs, that means that like any system which can feed data in an understandable format, then we can build the integration there. So in many ways, as long as you have systems where you have data, the possibilities are endless. And even if we think about now like Movico and Custobar, like if we think about how apps and the CDPs work, they have an API in the other end. Let's say think about push messages or push notifications. So what Custobar or CDP does is that we send a webhook to that API saying that to these customers, so basically these customer IDs or app IDs, I want to send this message. Then the API interprets it, it goes through the app's back end, and then the push notification appears to the customer's mobile phone. So like when we think about data, when we think about customer data, we are living life hasn't ever been this good, because with modern APIs, the connections are extremely easy to do. I don't know what's your experience, Kanberg, about the kind of like getting the data to work between systems, but
I think since Movico just integrates with any e-commerce platform and if any e-commerce platform is integrated with Custobar, the whole system will become an omni-channel system. So a merchant will not have to worry about integrate Custobar to both his mobile app and website. If it is integrated to the website, Movico will automatically take the data and it will be used in the mobile app as well.
Yes, exactly, and that's why I actually that's why I love the solution that you have, because you're already using the existing platforms and building on top of that, not adding another layer in between.
Yeah, it's all about being agile and fast. And the company is not agile or is not fast, then he will be no longer be able to compete with the competitors. What we try to do is to make companies go fast and agile and be the leader in the market.
That's pretty sum up for the whole topic, because I think it also sums up quite well the like using the data and digitalization. Like if you don't use it effectively at some point of time, you don't have to use it at all, most likely, because you're out of business. But please, if you still have any questions.
Actually, there's a from Ruben. I think Ruben wrote this in the chat, so we didn't see it in the Q&A part.
Yep.
At the start, you said the benefits apply to a dedicated mobile app, not a PWA. What exactly does the app have over PWA in this case? Again, I would first cite my other blog from movico.com. I think it's about providing a mobile app to boost customer retention. Yeah, Alexei.
By the way, can you first explain to everyone what's a PWA?
Yeah, sorry about that. PWA is a progressive web app that can be created copying the code of the website, and it's about maybe 1 megabyte or 2 megabyte at most, and it shows the entire website on the mobile app as an app, but it does not provide the app features. And the benefits apply to dedicated mobile app, and the benefits over native apps over PWA is that native mobile apps are quite functional, and one of the reasons why customers will download your app is because they look for convenience, and native mobile applications will provide that convenience to other customers. Websites are another thing, but mobile experience is another thing. And if customer is a mobile customer, and most of the customers are not the mobile customers, they will seek for a mobile experience, and they will seek for a unique experience than the website. However, PWAs are not the ones who provide this. On the other hand, PWAs will not be the ones which will provide the unique data that can be provided by mobile app, such as the location, such as PWAs cannot send push notifications. And if you, let's say, integrate Custobar to PWA, Custobar will work as if it is connected to the e-commerce platform, because the PWA will not be able to gather the data of the mobile app. Since thus mobile apps will be creating a seamless and end-to-end customer experience to the customers, if it is enough.
No, that's it. And actually, also on that point, isn't it so that to the PW apps, basically you could use like browser notifications there, yes? But my question to everyone is, when have you gotten a good browser notification from anywhere? At least I haven't.
Actually, I will come here with the data. Once again, you can check this from movico.com/provide mobile app to boost your retention block. Mobile people let mobile app notifications like 74%, 75%, but they permit browser notifications around 10%. So there's a like 7 times difference.
Yeah, at least like when we think about the communication side, I think that basically highlights the highlights the issue there. But I think that was a brilliant question, because I think that's what a lot of people are thinking, or like at least I've got the questions before that, kind of like, what's the difference? And you were able to answer it. I wouldn't have the words or knowledge.
I'm one who is providing mobile apps, so don't worry about it.
Exactly, does make sense. But now, guys, we are basically okay. Yeah. Thanks to Ruben, and thanks for everybody else for sending your questions. I think it's time for us to start wrapping up. We'll send a recording of this webinar to all of you. So if you missed a part, you can go through it and listen to it again. And here you can see our details. So please get in contact if you want to hear more or discuss anything else. From my behalf and from behalf of Custobar, thank you a lot that you were with us, and hope to talk to you soon, and hope you found this interesting and educational, at least to some extent.
And thank you all for joining on behalf of Moriko and on behalf of me. Thanks so much.
Thank you guys, and have a great rest of the summer.
Bye-bye.